You're listening to nothing important.
But now we're on a podcast, so fuck the FCC.
Mm-hmm. All right, you ready?
We're not popular enough to notice. Okay.
Please enjoy the show. That's great. That works.
Hey guys, welcome to Nothing Important. I'm Dave. What we have for you this week is an interview with Mark Proksch. He played Nate on The Office, and he plays Daniel Warmald on Better Call Saul. And as most of you know, Brian and I do a fan podcast about Better Call Saul called It's Saul Goodman, which you can find at www.itssaulgoodman.com. So what we did is we split the interview up. We have half of it, not Better Call Saul stuff, on this podcast. The Better Call Saul stuff is on It's Saul Goodman. I also realized that I haven't done it that time of the month in a while, so I am going to plan on doing 2 in March. And we have another interview planned next week that is not a Better Call Saul related guest, although he is a fan and he might have some opinion. We might talk about the show a little bit. But hey, it's a massive show. Speaking of massive shows, I went and saw
The Deadpool movie
last weekend by myself, which is an odd thing for me to do, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I'm recommending that everybody check it out, which I think I'm going to throw in Brian and I talking about a little bit. Yeah, I'll do that. So, enjoy our chat with Mark Proksch. We'll see y'all next week.
One thing I definitely want to see, Dave, is the Deadpool movie.
I'm also very interested in seeing that movie.
Yeah.
I went and saw the Avengers when I was living in LA by myself. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I saw the Avengers 2. I hated it.
You hated it?
I was checking my clock. I was like,
Really?
I was over it, dude. Something about the Avengers movies. And I thought I was done with comic book movies in general. And then I saw Ant-Man. And it kind of brought me back. Honestly,
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's kind of lighthearted.
It is. It's written by Adam McKay, who wrote like Anchorman, and so it's a comedy writer that wrote it. Paul Rudd's the main guy. I like Paul Rudd. I like his whole aura and everything. Yeah. So I really liked Ant-Man. I thought it was pretty well done, and so now I'm kind of back on the comic book. I think it's just I don't like Joss Whedon movies maybe or something. Whoever does the Avengers, but I really want to see Deadpool. I love Ryan Reynolds. I said. In one of the most recent podcasts, I love my talkie actors.
Yeah,
and,
he's very verbose,
and he's one of those guys that just has the wit and the dialogue, and that's a perfect role for him, I think.
Yeah,
and
totally.
He's super sexy.
Yeah, he's quite a handsome man. Well, the thing about Deadpool is like if there was any movie or role that was custom made for somebody, it'd probably be Deadpool for Ryan Reynolds.
I think so. I think it's going to be a nice
because the whole concept of Deadpool is. He's like an anti-hero, but he knows he's in a comic book. So he does a lot of breaking the fourth wall. Like he'll speak directly to the readers.
Right.
While the rest of the people are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Because like they don't know they're in a comic book, but he does. And I've heard nothing but good things that in the movie, he breaks the fourth wall per the character and he'll talk to the audience.
Absolutely.
And normally I hate that kind of thing.
Right.
Like I think I spoke about that before. Even when I was little, like say like Tiny Toon Adventures, for example. Remember when we were little, that was a big cartoon?
Yeah.
And I remember every once in a while, Buster Bunny would break the fourth wall and talk to the audience. And even as a kid, I was like, man, I hate that. Like why can't you just act
distracting from my entertainment. Like talk to me.
Yeah, I just never liked that. I always thought, even from a young age, I always thought that was a jarring thing.
Funny Games that ruined the movie Funny Games for me.
Was there a lot of breaking the third wall?
There was
fourth wall on that one.
One point where they did, and just kind of like I was into it till now. Yeah, but yeah, I think that they're going to pull it off, or they have pulled it off. I mean, the movie's done at this point.
Like $74 million on its opening weekend as we record this.
Oh, is it already out?
Yeah, it came out Thursday.
Well then.
A rare Thursday release.
I'm so excited to see it. I don't even know that it's out yet. Yes.
Yeah. But you know, the advertising's been hilarious. Like it's been very pointed towards moviegoers, like even breaking the fourth wall. My favorite one that they did is, of course, with everything, there's a damsel in distress. So there was actually Valentine's Day advertisements.
Oh, nice.
That looked like typical, like framed it as if it was like a romantic comedy.
Kind of like what they did with the Shining trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Except for this was like official trailer for the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, so so why not take your woman? Why not take your girl to a romantic movie on Valentine's Day? And then it's like Deadpool, and it even had a picture of like handsome ass Ryan Reynolds like sitting there smiling like on a log overlooking like a lake, and like the love interest with him like head on the shoulders smiling like they're just having the most romantic evening.
That's
when
awesome.
if anything, the movie is not romantic.
Oh no, it's super violent.
Super violent.
It's super. It's this. I think this is going to be one of the most violent. Is this the first R-rated?
No, Watchmen wasn't R-rated.
That was
Superhero
Marvel too, right?
No, Watchmen's DC.
Ah,
yeah.
Deadpool's Marvel.
Yeah, awesome movie. And once again, speaking of Watchmen, I'd like to say that Eric Griffin's opinion of the movie Watchmen is 100% wrong. I will never let that drop.
We should get him back on.
If I ever get him back on the show, I'm going to be like, I still think your opinion of Watchmen is wrong. He was a fun guy, though.
I agreed more with him on that.
Really?
I don't know.
You didn't like The Watchmen?
I was lukewarm on The Watchmen.
Oh, I loved it. Maybe, did you read the book, The Watchmen?
No.
Read the book, The Watchmen, and then go watch the movie, and you'll be like, wow, they did really good.
Okay, that was like, they tried to keep it
It was
to the comic book, right?
Yeah,
Not take too many liberties with
really true to the comic book, except for the ending. And if you haven't seen, if you haven't read the comic book The Watchmen or haven't seen the movie The Watchmen, I'm not going to ruin the ending. Typically, I don't care about spoilers. I just think it's really clever how they made it, how they updated the ending.
Speaking of which, I finally saw The Departed after it's been out 5-10 years, however long it's been out.
Yeah,
and I managed to. It never got spoiled for me. I had no idea how that movie ended.
Really?
I saw it like 2 weeks ago, finally, and it's awesome. But I was sitting there like, how did this never get spoiled for me? This is a great movie. Everybody's seen it. But maybe it's because the ending's so cool, people didn't want to spoil it for other people.
And that's the way it should be, man, because people that cry spoilers are the worst.
That's right. Spoiler alert.
The worst.
And now an excerpt from the book of things Dave doesn't care about.
People from Vegas that won't shut the fuck up about the fact that they're from Vegas. Well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Okay, well, you happen to Vegas. Please stay there.
This was an excerpt from the book of things Dave doesn't care about.
You're listening to Nothing Important.
Dave, you there?
I'm here.
Mark, you there?
I think he's messing. I am. Okay. Sorry.
I gave Mark the warning about how I always hang up on people, and he's like, well, that's it. If you hang up, that's over. Well, that's good. I couldn't have asked for a better way for that to start out. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Someone Important hotline is Mark Proksch. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, close enough. It's Proksch.
Dave can say it well, but
no one
I
gets
can't.
it. So
yeah.
My parents even screw it up. So
it's a very unique last name. If you don't mind me asking, what nationality is that last name?
For what we know, it's Austrian.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
It's just a very unique combination of letters.
Yeah, mostly consonants.
It's very Eastern European, for sure, yes.
Yeah, we were too poor to afford vowels when we moved over. So.
Well, we're glad to have you on this show. Dave and I were big fans of Better Call Saul, but you've done other things from K-Strauss, which I hope we could talk a little bit about, and also The Office, where Dave was telling me that you have one of his all-time favorite moments from that TV show, right, Dave?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, really? What was it?
It was when Dwight goes to the hardware store to pick up some illegal workers, and the exchange between you two, where yo soy, I'm from Philadelphia, Scranton. I speak English much better. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on. I think that was the first day of shooting for my character and for me as an actor ever.
Really?
That was the first role I ever had as a professional actor.
Not a bad jumping in point.
No kidding, right? And so that was a pretty nerve-wracking day for me, but Rainn Wilson and everyone on the office, they were so nice and welcoming that it really helped ease my nerves. So
That's awesome.
So that was your first experience as an actor, and do you attribute that to K-Strauss, the Zim Zam Yo-Yo Man?
Oh, it was 100% from that. I was living in Wisconsin, not doing all that much. Just some, short films with my buddies and writing with my friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And through K-Strauss, the writers at the office became fans, and they would watch it during their lunch. And Paul Lieberstein, who played Toby on The Office, was also the showrunner at the time. And he told them that they should, that they should hire me. But I had taken almost everything about me off of the internet that I could. I took down my Facebook. I took down everything so people would really think that K-Strauss was real. Because I was just trying to make my buddies laugh.
Right.
I wasn't looking to, make it in Hollywood. That was the furthest thing from my mind.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what were you doing to make ends meet during this time?
Yeah, I was working at this kind of an ad agency, but they would also do like documentary film. And so they were integrating the two. It was created by Barry Polterman, who's the editor for a lot of Chris Smith films, like American Movie and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was doing that, but I wasn't like that wasn't my calling or anything. They were just nice enough to hire me. And so yeah, I was just kicking around and never had a clue that I could get out here. And then one day I got a call from Paul Lieberstein, and a week later I was out there meeting with the writers, and then 2 months later I was filming that scene. It was just
wow,
that's crazy.
So how did that call go? I would imagine like if I got a call like that, I would probably hang up on them because I wouldn't believe that it was actually somebody calling me.
Well, I did have a bit of a heads up. Otherwise, I would have. My now wife was a writer on The Office, and she had started about a week before the K-Strauss videos went up on YouTube. And we didn't know each other at the time. And when they were trying to figure out who I was, she was the one that figured it out. And so she had texted my friend, Joe Pickett, who I wrote K-Strauss with, because Joe used to work at The Onion, and that's where Amelie came from. And so she was like, "Do you know anything about this guy?" And Joe was like, "Yeah, it's my friend." And so that's kind of gave me a heads up that Paul would be calling. And yes, it was a very nerve-wracking call, even though Paul is one of the nicest people you'll meet. It was still pretty freaky.
Wow. That's like such an amazing success story.
Yeah, isn't it nuts? I got a career and my wife. Wow. By doing something really stupid on TV.
Tale as old as
there's
time.
Hope for us all.
Well, so that's amazing. So, did you act at all before, like plays or anything, or
not
they
really?
They just kind of brought you out and said, "Can you do this?"
Yeah, I mean, mostly high school, but when I look back, doing short films with my friends and just goofing around in dumb characters with my friends, really honed any skill or lack thereof that I have. And so I guess, it's almost the 10,000 hour rule,
Right.
Instead of like thinking, I should be an actor and go, pursue that in a conventional sense, I did it, I guess, a bit organically, just with my buddies. And that's what anytime anyone asks me what they should do as far as, acting or becoming an actor, I say, well, don't move to LA, wait and hone your skills and take time. And
kind of like two jackasses that kind of want to be broadcasters, so we do a podcast about a famous TV show.
Yeah, well, that's a little different. I have no inkling into that world. So,
it takes a lot. It takes a computer and like a $5 microphone, and you too can be a podcaster, my friend.
Exactly. But I have found that with podcasts, the cream rises to the top much quicker than than like music. Because it's the same with music. $5 and a computer, and you can. But with podcasts, people do not have much tolerance for crappy ones, and so the good ones rise pretty quickly. So that's to your compliment. So.
Oh, well, I guess I totally appreciate that though. So how many episodes of The Office were you on?
I was on 19 or 20, I think.
And was there ever a time where you just sat back and you're like, I can't believe I'm on this huge hit show, and did you ever catch flack from somebody for not paying your dues? Because we've talked to other actors and movie stars and such, and we've heard a couple times that sometimes there's a little bit of jealousy for people who kind of either create their own path and jump in at the top. I mean, have you had to face anybody like giving you any flack because you didn't quote unquote pay dues and go through one man shows?
I really haven't. Jonathan Banks, who, he was a theater director, when he started out, and actor. And, Michael McKean, the same thing, these guys, and Rainn Wilson, was classically trained. And, but no, I've never gotten a sense from anyone that, who paid their dues in that sense. I haven't felt any animosity or anything from them. They've always been very, very kind. I feel that way. I mean, I feel like I haven't paid my dues. Mm-hmm. And so when I meet these actors who, have, I feel, a bit ill at ease about it and self-conscious about it.
I can see that, but you, as you said, if you spent a lot of time doing it on your own organically, then you have been paying your dues, just not in the traditional sense, in the professional setting, I guess.
Right. I mean that's been brought up to me, and I ascribe to that to some extent, but when that's just your life, you don't think of it that way.
Right. It's too close to the situation.
you just think you're a loser. So, and that you failed and let down your family. So,
sounds like you failed up.
I fell backwards into something pretty great.
But that's such a almost in a way, I'm sure I know for a fact Dave has, but like I'm sure you've been to like karaoke and there's like the one person who thinks they're going to get discovered at karaoke. Oh yeah. Like in a way you are the person that got discovered at karaoke because like you put out YouTube videos and they tracked you down, and that's just great that it worked out for you. It's such an unconventional route. And
it is, and it would never have happened without the internet,
Yeah.
And we didn't even load the videos up to YouTube. Other people did, and I was really annoyed because our initial plan was to do 12 in a row, and if you watched all 12 in a row, you would get a couple story arcs about K-Strauss, his failing life,
genius,
and it was just a interesting way to tell a story through 2-minute interviews,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so when it blew up, we were both like, "Oh crap!" Now, this is ruined. We won't be able to do it anymore. Again, no idea that it could build into a career. I really didn't.
Well, it seems to have worked out just great, especially with, it's
Very fortunate.
Yeah, awesome. And before we talk a little bit about Better Call Saul, my question next is, the people in the studio, the newscasters and like the local weathermen, was there ever a point where after everything just goes to hell and they essentially, like give you the gong treatment? Was there ever a time where you broke character and you're like, okay, guys, I'm just kind of doing this?
Oh, God, no.
No, that's great. I was hoping you'd say no.
I would be terrified to do that. As long as I'm in character, I'm not too scared of anything. And I wanted them to think it was real.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted everyone to think that this was a real guy who's having an on-air meltdown, And so as soon as the cameras finished, the newscasters would like just turn and walk away. And it was always the camera person that would have to come up and get my mic off of me. And every single time I would say, oh man, that did not go so well. And almost every time, and I almost started laughing towards the last couple interviews, because every single time the camera person would be like, no, you got your point across. You did a great job. It's just this lovely Midwest night, kindness. But yeah, I'm sure it really enjoyed having to come get the mic off the freak.
Have you heard from any of those people now that you've went on to, you went on to success? Like, because like, if you pulled that on me, I couldn't help but respect it so much that I would do everything I could to reach out to you and just be like, you got me good, you fucker. Like, good job. Like,
yeah, I mean, not really. A couple other, like people that worked with those newscasters early on reached out and, expressed, hate. but it wasn't mean-spirited towards the newscasters. I mean, I'm the idiot when that comes across, that.
Right. It wasn't like you were trying to make right. Yeah. You weren't trying to make them look stupid. You were,
Yeah. I have no interest in that type of, that's just easy, to do it that way. So thank you guys. I appreciate you reaching out.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mark. Have a great night.
See you guys.
All right.
Be sure to follow Nothing Important online at nothingimportantpodcast.com. Find us on iTunes, on Twitter at NotImportantPC, and you can also find us on Facebook. Nothing Important is recorded with help from Third City Sound in Joliet, Illinois. Thanks for being awesome.